I recently got out of an 8-year relationship with my partner, and I want to talk about the breakup process. This video is mostly for people who are ready to leave a relationship. Like they kind of know it's not working, like they want to leave, but you're scared because you've been with that person for a really long time, or maybe you just got really attached to them and you're afraid of what life would be like without them. So I'm just going to share my experience. So I got into it when I was like 22 years old, right? And now I'm 30. So this is most of my adult life, spending it with this person, right? And like the thing about leaving a relationship like that is your brain gets completely rewired throughout the duration of that relationship. So who you were before this relationship is not who you're going to be after you leave, which is actually a good thing in my opinion, because I would never want to go back to that version of myself. Like that version of myself did not feel that great. I don't know if that's relatable, but that was my case. So I really did not want to feel like that again. And part of the fear of letting this relationship go for me was like, what if I go back to feeling like that? And I'm here to tell you it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You're not that person anymore. I was not that person anymore. The only thing that's going to happen realistically is you're going to be the same person you are now, but without the added intrusions from that person in your life. So like if you've gotten to a point where it doesn't feel good to be in their energy, and it constantly feels like you have to rebalance yourself after interacting with them, because that's how it felt like for me towards the end. I was like, every interaction just put me off center, and I would have to, self-isolate, balance my shit out again, balance out my energy, and then, we would interact again because we're still in a relationship, right? And it was this consistent pattern that I was starting to recognize as like, like being in the presence of this person is affecting me badly at this point. And that was kind of a scary realization, not gonna lie. It was a scary realization because it was like, fuck, this isn't working, We get so comfortable in these long-term relationships. It's like family at one point, right? It's terrifying to lose family. You don't want to feel like you're all alone, but then sometimes you realize, oh fuck, I'm in this relationship and I already feel all alone, and they're actually triggering me in a bad way every time I interact with them. So what if they weren't there? And what if I had the chance, like a hope of meeting somebody who might be more compatible with me in the future? And I think it was the hope of that finally convinced me to end the cycle. Here's the reality of it, right? When you're in these long-term relationships, you 100% become physically addicted to them. Like there's no way around it. The level of pleasure hormones your brain releases in intimate connection with another human, the dopamine, oxytocin, whatever, it's definitely comparable to drugs. So you've become physically addicted to the presence of this person in your life. So of course it's scary to let that drug go, But at the same time, if it's holding you back, it's kind of like a negative addiction instead of a positive one. I don't know if that's a good analogy. So if you're ready to let it go, but you're scared of how it's going to feel, it's definitely going to feel like a withdrawal at first. So here's a comparison. I was addicted to coffee at one point. I was drinking coffee for like 2 months straight. I've never done that in my life before. I don't know why I started. It was something about jet lag and I felt better with the coffee, so I just stuck to it and I was drinking it every morning for 2 months. I became physically addicted to it. It took only 2 months. I was already addicted. So when I decided to stop, because it was affecting me badly, I couldn't sleep and shit like that. When I decided to stop, and I stopped, I had withdrawal symptoms for about 10 days. And I'm talking like I felt like garbage. I could not keep my eyes open. I felt like I was going to be this tired sloth with a like a lazy headache for the rest of my life. I thought I've messed my brain up. I'm doomed. I'm always going to need this thing now. I feel terrible, right? That's what withdrawal is. Your body goes from getting this fix from an external source to not getting that fix. And it needs that time to readjust. So within that period of withdrawal, like, you feel like shit. You feel like garbage. You feel like a -10. If you keep that in mind when you break up with somebody and just try to make it through that 10-day hump, okay? I know maybe the grieving period will last longer than that, but like the physical withdrawal period is about 10 days. It's not longer than that. So like physically, you need that period to readjust to being single. And your brain will readjust. Like, it's physically impossible for you to just stay feeling like that bad. Your brain and your body are wired to balance themselves out. So once you remove that like external drug, your body will readjust. So I don't know if that helps anyone. I feel like it helped me knowing that, and knowing that, okay, this is actually a physical thing I'm going through now. This is not emotional. This is not mental. This is physical. So, you know, it helped me to keep that in mind and just pump myself up and be like, okay, just make it through the hump, make it through the hump, you're gonna be fine. And I made it through the hump and I was fine. After about a week even, like, I was fine. Just take it one day at a time, you know? It's hard. It's really hard to get out of something like that, it was your whole life for God knows however many years you were in it, right? It's okay to feel like shit for that first period. Like, it's okay. And the grieving will take longer, most likely, because, you know, there's that feeling of loss. There's that feeling of maybe not even grieving the person or the relationship, but the potential of the relationship, what could have been, how good it could have been. Like, all the dreams you had of this person, of this reality with this person, all those dreams are gonna die, and that, it takes a grieving process. And grief comes in waves. So whenever you get hit by that wave of grief, just ride it. Don't fight it, just ride it. Again, it's one of those things where if you just allow yourself to feel those feelings, they will pass through you. You're never going to stay stuck in an emotion. It's always going to change. So if you let yourself feel, let yourself cry, maybe journaling helps, like talk to somebody, whatever. I don't like talking to people, so I just write it down somewhere. And it's going to pass. And it's going to change. And your brain is going to readjust. And your brain is going to get better at finding other sources of dopamine. Like, that's where I'm talking about the addictive thing. Your brain literally got lazy about creating dopamine because it was getting it from an external source. So now, once you readjust, your brain is going to find other sources. It just needs that time to figure things out. So if you are going through a breakup and you are struggling, just know it is going to get better. Your brain is doing everything in its power to figure this shit out for you. Like, you don't even have to try that hard. Your body and your brain are going to figure this out for you, okay? You just have to just hang in there, make it through the hump, go through the waves of grief, and you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. You're going to be the version of yourself you've become without the added intrusions and the negative impact of this person or what this relationship has become. Because most likely, if you wanted to leave, it had become something that was affecting you negatively. So just keep that in the back of your brain when you're going through the process of grieving a relationship. It's like, I left for a reason. I didn't want this to be the rest of my life. It was affecting me negatively. And, you know, now I'm giving myself the chance to maybe experience something positive in the future. And I'm not going to be tied down to this thing forever that was affecting me negatively. It's like, it's 100% logical. But the body just takes some time. Emotions don't really care about logic. Emotions are kind of like children. they don't like change. So when a massive change like this happens, it's just like a screaming, crying child. But they don't realize that, once you go through this period, it's going to feel better. So, you have to kind of like babysit your emotions. I'll put it like that. Just babysit them, be gentle with them, be kind with them, but also remind them that you don't want to go back to that. Trust me, you don't want to go back to that, okay? Like, I know it's a big change, but it's going to feel better. And just remember that you are a whole person, especially if you are like in a codependent kind of a connection. I know I was a little bit like that, so just remind yourself you are a whole person without them. You had yourself before this relationship, but you're going to have yourself after this relationship. They don't take away from who you are. They don't have the power to do that. You have your full, whole self. And if you ever feel like it leaves this feeling of emptiness or loneliness, again, it's not going to last forever. It's just one of those adjustment things that your body and your brain has to go through, because like genuinely, physically, human beings thrive in connections, and like we crave that. It's not something you can logically just explain away. We genuinely need those kind of connections, those close, intimate bonds with other people. But hey, if it wasn't the right match, it's not the right match. And you don't want to stay with that person just because being in connection felt good. Like, being in connection is going to feel good again, but maybe this time it's going to be with a person that's affecting you positively by being in your life. And you deserve to have that chance. You deserve to have the chance to try again. And trust me, it's gonna feel good again. It's inevitable. It's literally wired into our biology to want to connect with others. I hope this was comforting to somebody who's maybe going through this process now, or is thinking about going through it but are too scared. I get it. I was scared too. Like, for a long time, I was too scared to let this go. But now, coming out of it, like, it's been about 6 months since the breakup, I am so relieved. I feel like I'm not going through the grief anymore. I'm not going through the withdrawal, like, obviously. But I just feel like I'm free. I'm free. And I made it. That's a good feeling to have. So I wish you the best if you are going through this. Stay strong. You got this. It's a temporary thing. None of these feelings are going to stay like this forever. So if you are struggling, just know that it's going to change. You're going to feel better. And I guess the best thing, like the best advice I have, is take care of yourself, Find the things that make you feel whole again, that make you feel like you again. Maybe try to remember back to your childhood, like what made you feel like you. Who were you before you got mixed into this weird cocktail of a relationship with another human being? And try to get that spark back of who you were. Because you are who you are. You're not what they thought about you. You're not what they made you. You are you without them. Maybe you're going to become even more you without them holding you back. I don't know. Could be. Anything is possible. Anyway, hope this helps. I'll see you next time.